Thank you.
Okay, we'd like to call to order the Town of Niskayuna Planning Board and Zoning Commission, March 9th, 2026 meeting. Ms. Bergami, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Laflamme.
Here.
Ms. Strain.
Here.
Mr. Khan.
Here.
Mr. Millspaugh.
Here.
Ms. Gold.
Present.
Mr. Bill and Calhoun.
Here.
Mr. Drescher.
Here.
Chairman Darpino.
Here. Next up is the approval of the first of two sets of minutes. The first one is from February 9th, 2026. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Make it a second.
Second.
A second by Ms. Strang. Were there any comments or corrections? I had none. Okay. Seeing as there's no comments or corrections, all in favor of the February 9th, 2026 meeting minutes, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, February 9th, 2026 meeting minutes are approved. Next up is the February 23rd, 2026 meeting minutes. I'll make a motion to approve them. May I get a second?
Second.
A second by Ms. Strang. Any comments or corrections? Also, I had none on this. Okay. All in favor of the February 23rd, 2026 meeting minutes as submitted, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the February 23rd, 2026 meeting minutes are approved. Next up, there are public hearings. The first one up is 2690 Balltown Road, GE Vernova. This is an application for a security center. Ms. Bergami, could you please read the public hearing?
Notice is hereby given that pursuant to the Code of the Town of Niskayuna, New York, and the applicable provisions of the Town Law of the State of New York, a public hearing will be held by the Planning Board and Zoning Commission of the Town of Niskayuna in the Town Board Meeting Room at 1 Niskayuna Circle on the 9th day of March, 2026 at 7 p.m. to consider an application from Matt Savoy, agent for GE Vernova, at 2690 Balltown Road, for construction of a new 1,600 square foot security center in the town of Niskayuna. Tax parcel ID number 40.00-1-45.31. The property is located within the IR Research and Development Zoning District. A copy of the application for site plan review will be available for inspection at the Planning Department in the Niskayuna Town Hall and can be viewed at the town website under the Public Hearings tab and will be shown electronically during the public hearing. If you wish to express an opinion regarding the public hearing, you may do so at the above-mentioned time and place. If you cannot be present, you may request a virtual login to the meeting by emailing lrobertson@niskayuna.org or calling 518-386-4531, or you may set forth your opinion in a letter which will be made part of the permanent record. Please note there is a 5-minute time limit for each speaker at the public hearing, and submitted letters will not be read out loud at the public hearing, but such letters will be included in the minutes and added to the record. The Planning Board and Zoning Commission of the Town of Niskayuna will hear all persons interested during the aforementioned public hearing. By order of the Planning Board of the Town of Niskayuna, New York, David Darpino, Chairman, Planning Board and Zoning Commission.
Thank you, Ms. Bergami. Okay, anybody wishing to speak at the public hearing, please approach the podium and state your name and address for the record. This is solely for 2690 Balltown Road, GE Vernova. Okay, looks like we have no one here present for the public hearing. Do we have anyone online, Clark?
I do not believe so, and I have not received anything in the mail or any emails. I'm not sure if Laura has.
No, I haven't received anything.
Okay. So last call for 2690 Balltown Road, GE Vernova public hearing. Okay, seeing as none, we'll close the public hearing. Thank you. Next up for public hearings is 46 Commerce Park Drive. This is a site plan application requiring a 2-lot subdivision and a special use permit for the construction of a 6,000 square foot building for a child care center. Ms. Bergami, could you please read the public hearing?
Notice is hereby given that pursuant to the Code of the Town of Niskayuna, New York, and the applicable provisions of the Town Law of the State of New York, a public hearing will be held by the Planning Board and Zoning Commission of the Town of Niskayuna in the Town Board Meeting Room at 1 Niskayuna Circle on the 9th day of March, 2026 at 7 p.m. to consider an application from Chris Sprarigan, agent for the property owner of 46 Commerce Park Drive, for construction of a new 6,000 square foot building for the Montessori Child Child Care Center in the town of Niskiuna. Tax parcel ID number 31.1-73.52. The property is located within the O2 LI of Office Technology Light Industrial Zoning District. A copy of the application for site plan review will be available for inspection at the Planning Department in the Niskiuna Town Hall and can be viewed at the town website under the Public Hearings tab and will be shown electronically during the public hearing. If you wish to express an opinion regarding the public hearing, you may do so at the above-mentioned time and place. If you cannot be present, you may request a virtual login to the meeting by emailing lrobertson@niskiuna.org or calling 518-386-4531. Or you may set forth your opinion in a letter which will be made part of the permanent record. Please note there is a 5-minute time limit for each speaker at the public hearing, and submitted letters will not be read out loud at the public hearing, but such letters will be included in the minutes and added to the record. The Planning Board and Zoning Commission of the Town of Niskiuna will hear all persons interested during the aforementioned public hearing. By order of the Planning Board in the Town of Niskiuna, New York, David Darpino, Chairman, Planning Board and Zoning Commission.
Thank you, Ms. Bergami. Okay, anybody wishing to speak regarding 46 Commerce Park Drive for the public hearing, please approach the podium and state your name and address for the record. Okay, it doesn't look like we have anybody here present for public hearing. Clark, do we receive any correspondence or is there anyone online?
No, there's not, and we have not received anything.
Okay. We'll give last call for public hearing for 46 Commerce Park Drive. Okay, seeing there's none, we'll close the public hearing. Next up is privilege of the floor. Privilege of the floor is open to any town of, excuse me, any resident of the town of Niskiuna wishing to speak about any planning or zoning matter. Please approach the podium and state your name and address for the record. Okay, it looks like we have no one here for privilege of the floor. Clark or Laura, did we receive any correspondence?
I have not.
Yeah, I think there may be someone here that wants to speak under privilege of the floor. Elena, do you want to unmute yourself? Elena Mercado?
Hi, yes. I'm here for the public hearing. Yeah, I'm just here to kind of observe and watch. I am for the project at Commerce Park, just here to hear more about how everyone else has to say as well. But I'm here in approval for the project. My kids attend the school that this new building is going to be for. It's very crucial to me and my family to have this building. We've been sending our kids there for a while, and we find it just very hard to get, good, reliable health care within the Niskiuna limits. That's close to our home and that's nearby. So, yeah, we approve and we look forward and hoping that it gets passed. Again, it's very crucial to my family, for my kids, and being so close to where we live.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mercado.
Can we get that volume turned up again? I feel like we're where we were last time. Is that something you could do, Clark, or no?
I'm not sure, Laura, was that something
No,
you
Z
did or
does that
did Z
usually.
turn that up?
Yeah, Z, can you turn up the speaking volume?
Okay,
Thank you.
that's much better. Okay, thank you, Ms. Chang. Okay, privilege of the floor is still open. Okay, seeing as there's no one else for privilege of the floor, we will close privilege of the floor. Move on to unfinished business. We have no unfinished business, so we'll begin with new business. First up is Resolution 2026-15. This is a resolution to make a recommendation to the town board regarding a site plan application requiring a 2-lot subdivision and a special use permit for the construction of a 6,000 square foot building for a child care center at 46 Commerce Park Drive. Ms. Gold is the project lead.
Yes, and
I'll read the resolution and then we'll go
Okay.
through. Now therefore, be it hereby resolved that this Planning Board and Zoning Commission hereby recommends that the town board grant a special use permit for the construction of a Montessori Child Care Center at 46 Commerce Park Road, as shown in the aforementioned drawings, subject to the conditions below and the final site plan approval by the Planning Board. The findings for this recommendation by the Planning Board are attached to this resolution. Condition 1, The applicant will work with the tree council to identify areas where additional trees can be planted to adequately screen the property from adjacent uses. 2, the applicant will work with the Conservation Advisory Council to try and incorporate sustainability elements into the property and design of the new building. 3, lighting shall be minimal and directed away from residential properties and open sky. And 4, the adjacent stormwater management pond must be rehabilitated to meet the stormwater requirements for the previous approved Hillside Commerce Park prior to any certificate of occupancy being issued to the new building. May I get a motion?
I so move.
Okay. Moved by Ms. Gold, and a second? Oh, second by Mr. Laflamme. Do we have a representative from the applicant here?
Good evening, Luigi Palesci with ABD Engineers and Surveyors. Also with me tonight is Brooke and Chris Sparagan.
Okay.
Yeah, I think at the last meeting, we sort of walked through the revisions on the subdivision where we increased the lot size. I think we had it at 2.5 acres and we increased it to 2.57 acres,
Mhm.
which gained us more frontage. But the building, location, parking lot, lighting, landscaping, all stayed in the same area. There were some updates to, the site plan that we can certainly go through, but for the subdivision purposes, we're not asking for any variances and, gains us more green space on site. So if there's any questions on behalf of the subdivision, we're here to answer that.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Gold?
Yes. My understanding is that it was submitted, but I don't have the date for the site plan revision.
Yeah, actually, so the
I
plans
can't
that
read
you
that
see
from
up
here, I'm
here
sorry.
are the clouded version. I know that wasn't up there last meeting, but I see, the version that we did submit with the clouds are now in the town's possession.
Okay. So basically, this gives them a little breathing room, and the resolution we have doesn't include the revised plan date, and I'd like to add that if we could. I think the town board,
The Genesis, the 2.57 acre site is what's on there. On the actual map, it was 2.02 and we expanded it to 2.57. So this should be the 2.57.
Yeah,
That's all right.
I agree. And the notice of public hearing,
Mhm.
I've received a copy of that as well. And as I look at the back of the notice of public hearing, that is the correct map that was notified to the public, which
Okay.
shows that clouded version as well as the 2.57 acres.
and I'm looking at the resolution that doesn't reference the new one. It references the previous one.
Oh, okay.
So,
The
Right, so
resolution
so
will
we just
be
want the date
updated.
added.
yeah, revised.
Yeah.
Under drawings and documents, number 2, I think all of the layout of names of the sheets are right, and they are originally dated January 2nd, 2026. So we would just need amendment to put comma revised, I think 2/20/2026 at the end of A, B, C, and D. That's okay.
What was the date again?
February 20.
Yeah, that was revision number 3 that was submitted with that date 2/20/26. So yeah, that makes sense.
I think, in principle, it probably doesn't matter, but I think the town board might find that breathing room helpful.
Agreed.
Just give me 1 second. Okay, so there's a motion to add the date of February 20th, 2026, revision 3, added to the subheading drawings and documents, number 2, A, B, and C, to capture the updated revision set. I'll make that motion. May I get a second?
Second,
Second by Ms. Gold. Okay, all in favor of the amended item number 5 condition, state by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Mr. Pleshy.
Great. Thank you.
So Ms. Gold, are there any other comments or updates?
No, I would just note, we're trying to move this as quickly as we can because the need is great and we're sympathetic to that.
Okay. Yeah, we've discussed this quite a number of times as far as where you are in the process. I know that the planning department will work out a timeline along with what we have here when we make our recommendation to the town board, and then try to, capture what the next few steps are and even block out what some of those dates may be. Those dates are never held to, as you know. Things can change or evolve as this project moves forward, but we'll work with that timeline and put that together as well.
Understood. We appreciate that.
All right, thank you. Okay. All right. So if there's no other discussion, Ms. Bergami, could you please call the roll on Resolution 2026-15 as amended with condition number 5?
Mr. Laflamme?
Aye.
Ms. Strain?
Aye.
Mr. Khan?
Aye.
Mr. Millspa?
Aye.
Ms. Gomes?
Aye.
Ms. Gold?
Aye.
Chairman Darpino?
Aye, resolution passes.
Thank you.
Okay, next up under new business is Resolution 2026-16. This is a resolution for site plan approval to remove one single-family dwelling and combine 25 and 17 South Fagan Ave properties and expand the existing Matthew Kia's automotive sales dealership at 3900 State Street. Now therefore be it hereby resolved that this planning board and zoning commission hereby grants site plan approval in conjunction with the town board special use permit to combine 17 and 25 South Fagan Ave properties with the existing Kia automobile lot at 3900 State Street. Remove one single family home and extend the automobile sales lot onto South Fagan Ave as shown in the aforementioned drawing, subject to the conditions below. 1. The lot line adjustment setting the boundaries for 25 South Fagan Ave must be completed and recorded prior to the issuance of any building permits. The minimum width of 33 South Fagan Ave at the front yard setback line must be 80 feet. 2, there shall be no expansion of the existing PA system into the area of 17 and 25 South Fagan Ave, and the applicant shall endeavor to abandon the existing PA system and switch to more modern technology to limit the noise impacts of a car sales use. Number 3, the applicant will work with the tree council to identify trees that must be saved on the property to ensure the buffers and landscaping will adequately screen any additional lighting nuances created by the expansion of the car sales use. Number 4, the applicant shall be responsible for the installation of a public sidewalk from the southern edge of 33 South Fagan Ave to the intersection with State Street, as shown in the preliminary plans. Number 5, stormwater shall be looked at closely during the site plan review because of the large amount of impervious surface created by this use. Town-approved rainstorm data shall be used for stormwater modeling to ensure short-duration, high-intensity rainstorms will not adversely impact neighboring residential properties. 6, lighting shall be minimal and directed away from the residential properties and open sky. 7, prior to site disturbance, the applicant shall participate in a pre-construction meeting with the town of Niskiuna and shall address any concerns raised by the town. Prior to the pre-construction meeting, any engineering and drainage concerns will be addressed to the satisfaction of the town superintendent of water, sewer, and engineering. 9, prior to the pre-construction meeting, any questions or concerns raised by the town designated engineer will be addressed by the applicant in a formal letter to the town. 10, prior to site disturbance, the site plan map shall be modified to reflect agreed upon decisions of the pre-construction meeting, if any, and disturbed as required to the town and to all involved contractors. Final site plan shall be submitted to the town labeled for construction. 11, in accordance with Chapter 180 of the Soil Erosion and Sediment Control Ordinance of the town of Niskiuna, the applicant shall put in place soil erosion and sediment control measures sufficient to stabilize disturbed areas. These measures shall be satisfactory to the superintendent of water, sewer, and engineering and shall remain in place until such time as natural vegetation has been successfully established. And 12, should the garage floor elevation for the buildings or additions deviate by more than 6 inches from the elevations approved for construction by the Planning Board and Zoning Commission or the Building Department, then revised grading plans shall be submitted immediately to the town's engineering office for their approval. Mr. Laflamme is the project lead, and may I get a motion?
Move to approve.
Okay. I will second. We have a representative from the applicant here.
Good evening, Laura Casali with CHA Consulting.
Vinny Salvani with Matthews Auto.
Okay, great. You had a chance to listen to all the conditions. Were there any concerns with any of the 12?
Just a clarification
Hmm.
on the trees. I know we had the one tree that was a non-negotiable that we factored in. Are there other trees that could disturb the actual parking lot that we're trying to create? Or are we just talking about trees shown in the picture?
It's, the tree council meeting happened, I think, last month, and they just had a couple questions. It looked like there were a few places you could plant trees. So no impacts to the site at all. They were happy with the Norway spruce being saved, and I think they didn't have any issues with the species. They were excited about that. There's just a couple spaces it looked like you could fit another tree.
We can work with the tree council then.
Okay, great.
Just kind of to highlight, this is, I can't do both. This has been a long time coming. This application came to us a few years back in 2023. It was denied by this board at the current site plan design. And this applicant went back to the drawing board and took the feedback from the community and this board and came out with another revision that was very sensitive to a lot of the common topic concerns. The neighbors, this is a unique zoned area of commercial and residential. This is a disruptive, change. This is an encroachment on residential, but as opposed to two houses being removed, this application or this site plan only includes one. As much as we see that as a negative, we do see this as accommodating the needs of the commercial. It's also going to improve the safety for our community and add sidewalks, remove some dangerous traffic behavior that can be mitigated with this design. And there's just a net positive to the overall success design of Kia. So that's kind of just a quick high overview. There were a couple things we got back from the TDE that I wanted to make sure we shared. There were 4 key recommendations to consider, and they mostly have to do with the condition of pavement. I don't know if you had a chance to review those 4 items. I could review them, but maybe you can give us some insight. What do you think the outcome of the pavement concerns will be?
Are we talking about the road on Fagan?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not in great repair currently. My opinion would be if we make that worse, then we're responsible to fix it. But I don't know that I can just authorize repaving the road tied to the project. I don't know if that's customary. That to me is absolutely, that's appropriate for the TDE to bring that up. I acknowledge it. I just don't know how we draw the line to say we did or we did not make it worse.
I mean, part of the whole concept is that we're going to bring larger trucks on that road. It's part of the design. So I suppose the expectation or understanding might be had by the applicant. You're just indicating that you're not sure if the applicant would actually be able to justify repairing that road.
Not repairing, proactively saying that it's going to need repair.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I would absolutely say if during construction or during our use, we create that issue, we're responsible for that. We take responsibility for it. But saying that's going to happen ahead of time, what's the position of the board on that point?
I mean, I don't know the position of the board, but I just know that the road, it doesn't look like it's in terrible condition.
Yeah, correct. I mean, it's not
in comparative to other roads.
Right.
And then there were also there's a visibility stop line on the pavement of South Fagan that was recommended. So the TDE states that the stop line will prevent issues with trucks turning onto South Fagan. So that stop line that will help trucks stop at a certain point is being recommended. The TDE walkway the walkway from South Fagan Ave to the existing sidewalk on State Street. They would like to see an ADA compliant ramp associated with that walk path.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, so there is detectable warning strips at that sidewalk now. There's also a stop bar. It just seems to be very faded. That just hasn't been repainted. Getting a sidewalk to the actual parking lot from the State Street sidewalk we really have not been able to accommodate that because of the grade to make it ADA compliant. It would involve ramps and railings, which would be in the DOT right of way, and they heavily frown upon putting that type of infrastructure within their right of way.
Laura, is there any comments or thoughts on that we should discuss?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I might not have looked at that comment carefully enough, but I thought it was making sure when the sidewalk dips down for the driveways that it has the ADA compliant curb ramps and detectable warnings.
Which it will, all the new sidewalks will be ADA compliant and have the deductible warning.
Okay,
strips.
all right.
Yeah, and I don't think you get heavy pedestrian traffic to the site from the
Not-
sidewalk.
Not anticipated from our people but
Yeah. And then the last one was just the condition of the asphalt of the parking lot itself. And I know we've talked about that condition a few times. I think the prevailing expectation that you as the applicant had was that you were just going to kind of seal it and reline it. Is that changed?
existing dealership parking lot. You're talking about?
Yeah.
I think when we disturb it with the grade.
Right,
Yeah.
so on that plan, everything that's shaded dark is all brand new pavement.
We're going to disrupt it.
Yep, so
Yeah.
it's going to be a whole new pavement system. The bottom
Oh.
left corner that's not shaded, we don't need to regrade that. We were able to keep that at the same elevation, and at this point, it'll be mill and overlaid or sealed and restriped, so that the entire parking lot will look brand new.
Will look brand new, but I think the TDE is specifically indicating that might need to be, they're recommending it be milled and paved, inclusive with the rest of it. But
The area that's unshaded. you're
it
saying.
looks like, it just reads the entire site be milled and paved. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
everything that's shaded is brand
Is
new,
brand new, but the part that's not
not shaded.
is gonna not be milled and paved. Okay.
No, it will be.
Oh, it will be.
Yeah, no, what we're saying is that area doesn't need to be dug out and replaced. It'll be milled,
Okay,
retopped,
okay,
paved, or retopped and then sealed to look as if it's all been.
brand new. Okay, all right, great.
Yeah, we just don't need to remove it completely.
Got it.
So for everyone to understand, asphalt has 2 to 3 layers depending on the type of system. The milling, which is probably the top inch to inch and a half,
Correct.
has a machine that comes over it. It goes through. If the sub base is bad, they know exactly when they take it up. But if the sub base is good of the asphalt, they can mill directly over it and pave over it with fresh asphalt. So it's a very common practice. It's implemented quite often. But if you're going to be at least milling the unshaded areas, and I think that addresses quite a few of the TDE's comments that were part of that letter.
Yeah, so we're not going to go all that way and then leave that little swath.
Yeah, that's what I
Correct.
thought. Was okay.
Nope. Shaded dark is, as Laura's explained to me, is
Yeah.
all the way down
Yeah.
to the sub base. That's completely new.
Yeah.
And then refreshed.
Yeah.
In the white area will be milled, topped, sealed, striped.
All right. Well, it sounds like you've got an awareness and a plan for all of these. I think thank you for answering those questions. Yeah. Do you have any other additional comments that you'd like to have on the public record?
I don't.
It has been a process, and I appreciate your patience. I appreciate the site visits. I appreciate the interaction. I hope Matthews Auto has presented ourselves as great partners and great business people in the town. We intend to continue to do that. And going back to the one comment that seems to be up in the air, there's no world in which we get to the end of this and someone from the town comes over and says, hey, the street is in disrepair from your project. That's not something we would leave that way. I don't want to say that we're going to do that if it's unnecessary, but if we create it, I'll be on record saying that we'll take care of it.
Okay. All right, any other open discussion? Okay. I do have one procedural item that was discovered since the packet was put out. We wanted to add a whereas statement that basically identifies that the Niskayuna Town Board was the lead agency. This was left out of our packet. And as a clarification, this is not a condition, but I'm going to make the recommendation that we add this paragraph in. This would be on page 2 between the whereas clause that begins with the application that was referred to from the Conservation Advisory Council, and then it would be nested to the other whereas clause between the Complete Streets Committee, abbreviated CS. So I'll read this right now. Whereas on September 30th, 2025, the Niskayuna Town Board as lead agency determined that this project will not have a significant effect on the environment and determined that this and directed the town planner to file a negative declaration. And in reaching this finding, this town board recognized that this applicant previously made a similar application for a special use permit that would have involved demolishing 2 houses and would have had more significant environmental impacts. But before this board rendered its decision on seeker on the first application, the applicant withdrew and has now come back with this new application, which this board felt took into consideration the environmental impacts of the proposed projects, explored alternatives, and mitigate certain concerns that this board previously had. And then it moves into the next whereas. Okay. So I just want to make the board aware of that. This, between Mr. Millspaw and Planning Department, we felt that this would be prudent to add this whereas in so it captures everything
For the agency.
into the lifeline of the project.
Great.
All right. So I'll make a motion that whereas dated September 30th that identifies the Niskayuna Town Board as lead agency that was just read would be added to the resolution. Make it a second.
I second.
Second by Mr. Laflamme. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So seeing as there's no further discussion, I'm going to ask Ms. Bergami to please call the roll on the amended resolution 2026-16.
Mr. Laflamme,
Aye.
Ms. Strain,
Aye.
Mr. Khan,
Aye.
Mr. Millspaw,
Aye.
Ms. Gomes,
Aye.
Ms. Gold,
Aye.
Chairman Darpino.
Aye, resolution passes. Thank you again. I know it's been a very, very long road. We look forward to a successful business for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Okay, next up is Resolution 2026-17. This is a resolution for site plan approval of a tenant change to Bank of America at Mohawk Commons at 400 Balltown Road. Now therefore, be it hereby resolved that this Planning Board and Zoning Commission does hereby classify this application as a Type 2 action under seeker regulations and no further action is required. And further resolved that the Planning Board and Zoning Commission finds the above referenced site plan application meets the requirements of the zoning code and therefore hereby approves this tenant change with the following conditions. 1, all future proposed signage shall be reviewed by the planning office. Code compliant signage shall be approved by the planning office. Non-compliant signage shall be reviewed and approved by the planning board. Number 2, landscaping. Prior to completion of the building permit, the health of the existing landscaping shall be reviewed by the tree council and property owner together, and any dead or dying vegetation will be replanted. There is no project lead, so may I get a motion?
Also move.
Moved by Ms. Gold,
Second.
second by Mr. Khan. Do we have a representative from the applicant online or here?
Yes, Steve Ness with CBRE. I represent the Bank of America.
Okay, thank you. You had a chance to hear the 2 conditions. Are you okay with those?
That's perfectly fine. Yes.
All right, great. Any other open items, discussions, or concerns from the board? Seems pretty straightforward. Okay, Ms. Bergami, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Laflamme,
Aye.
Ms. Strain,
Aye.
Mr. Khan,
Aye.
Mr. Millspaw,
Aye.
Ms. Gomes,
Aye.
Chairman Darpino. Oh,
Yep.
Ms. Gold, sorry.
Aye.
Chairman Darpino.
Aye, resolution passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, next up is Resolution 2026-18, a resolution for site plan approval of an updated exterior Sunoco branding signage at Niski Tire and Auto at 1501 Balltown Road. Now therefore, be it hereby resolved that this planning board and zoning commission does hereby classify this application as a type 2 action under seeker regulations and no further action is required. And be it resolved that the planning board and zoning commission has determined that the proposed sign waivers as described above would have a minimum negative effect on aesthetics and compatibility with the neighborhood character. And be it further resolved that the planning board and zoning commission does hereby grant said waivers to allow for the signage as described above. And be it further resolved that the planning board and zoning commission does hereby grant site plan approval for the aforementioned signs at 1501 Balltown Road with the following conditions. 1, any future changes or alterations to the signage package shall require planning board approval. 2, any and all additional signage for the site shall require planning board approval. I'll make the motion. This moves forward, and may I get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Millspaw. Do we have a representative from the applicant online?
Yes, good evening. Deb Garazzi from Saxon Sign representing Stewart.
Okay, thank you. So you had a chance to hear the resolution. Are you okay with the conditions as listed?
Yeah.
Okay. And just to quickly recap of the waivers that are on there, we talked about the signage that's there, the monument sign that's close to the road, the percentage of the signage because of the logos that's over. So all 5 of them are listed here in the package. Did you have any concerns?
I know that we did the manual or the LED pricing on that, on the monument.
Mm-hmm.
The LED.
The waiver
was
was for either one?
Go ahead, Laura.
Oh, the LED pricing's okay. It doesn't actually need a waiver. So, gas prices and time and temperature are allowed to be digital. So it's really up to the applicant which one they want to do.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I know they do want to go forth with the LED, so that is helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments or concerns from the board?
I've driven by a couple that put the new branding and it looks good.
Mhm.
So
We'd agree.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, Ms. Bergami, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Laflamme,
Aye.
Ms. Strain,
Aye.
Mr. Khan,
Aye.
Mr. Millspaugh,
I
Ms. Gomes,
Aye.
Ms. Gold,
Aye.
Chairman Urpino.
Aye, resolution passes. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, and our last resolution under new business is 2026-19, a resolution for plat plan approval for a 2-lot minor subdivision at 2727 Balltown Road. Ms. Gold is the project lead. Now therefore, be it hereby resolved that the Planning Board and Zoning Commission does hereby grant minor subdivision approval for a 2-lot subdivision at 2727 Balltown Road as shown on the aforementioned drawings by ABD engineers subject to the following conditions. 1, prior to recording the plat, the final letter of approval shall be received from the town designated engineer regarding all engineering and drainage aspects of the site plan. 2, prior to recording the plat, any engineering, sewer connection, or drainage concerns will be addressed to the satisfaction of the town superintendent of water, sewing, and engineering. 3, prior to recording the plat, any minor textural changes to the subdivision map will be addressed to the satisfaction of the town planning department. 4, prior to a final certificate occupancy of the new single-family home, the trees shall be planted for the subdivision as identified on the subdivision plans and shall be installed into the landscaping, and escrow shall be provided for 1 year from the date of installation to ensure the trees survive. 5, the limits of clearing on this subdivision shall be strictly adhered to during construction. To the maximum extent practical, the applicant shall retain as many of the site's healthy trees and native vegetation. 6, prior to issuing a building permit, the new house shall be referred to and reviewed by the Architectural Review Board. Number 7, prior to issuing a building permit, the applicant shall pay water and sewer fees for the new town Pay water and sewer trunk fees for the new lot to the town of $1,000 for sewer, 1 unit times $1,000 each, and $1,000 for water, 1 unit times $1,000 each. 8, prior to issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall participate in pre-construction meeting with the town of Niskiuna if so requested by the planning or building department. 9, prior to the site disturbance, the subdivision map shall be modified to reflect agreed upon decisions of the pre-construction meeting, if any, and distributed as required to the town to all involved contractors. Final site plan shall be submitted to the town labeled for construction. 10, in accordance with Chapter 180 of the Soil Erosion and Sediment Control Ordinance of the Town of Niskiuna, the applicant shall put in place soil erosion and sediment control measures sufficient to stabilize disturbed areas. These measures shall be satisfactory to the superintendent of water, sewer, and engineering, and shall remain in place until such time as natural vegetation has been successfully established. 11, wetland boundaries shall be recorded and shown on any plot plan of a building lot containing wetlands. Wetlands may not be disturbed, drained, or physically altered in any way without first contacting the Army Corps of Engineers. And 12, should the garage floor elevation for individual lots deviate by more than 6 inches from the elevations approved for construction by the Planning Board and Zoning Commission or the Building Department, then revised grading plans shall be submitted immediately to the town's engineering office for their review and approval. Make it a motion?
I so move.
Moved by Ms. Gold. I will second it. A representative from the applicant here?
Me again. Good evening, Luigi Palesci with ABD Engineers and Surveyors for the record. Yeah, so we've presented this. We're at the final stages. Looked at the conditions that you just mentioned tonight. I don't have any objection to those. Just had more clarification on 2 of those conditions, number 6 and number 9. Number 6 was, I believe, in regards to the architectural board. For a single family lot, is that pretty typical or is that just specific for this lot?
Nope. We've been recommending any projects that come through here. Sometimes there's just regular building permits that come in. The reference to the architectural review board. It is a non-binding board. So they just like to sometimes offer some insight on design parameters or material usage and things like that.
Okay.
So we found that the activity that they've been doing and some of the references that they've had with some of the applicants, it's been beneficial.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the only other one was number 9. So just clarification on that. Normally we would, go through the process of filing the subdivision map, but we should wait on that until after the pre-construction meeting. Is that correct? In case there are a couple items that we may have to reflect and then go file the subdivision map?
I'll defer that one to Laura and Clark as far as the timing of which should happen first.
Okay. Because if so, I mean, we would probably like to schedule that pre-construction meeting sooner than later is what I was getting at. So,
Yeah, I think we should do the pre-construction meeting first because we have a couple comments on the plat.
okay.
So then we can get everything out on the table and then get everything recorded and issue the building permit.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Just one quick question on number 12. We reference garage floor elevation only, but they also have the first floor elevation. Should it be tied to all the elevations that are on the plat, or is there a reason it's only garage floor?
That's our standard condition, but I think it'd definitely be okay to modify it to what is written on the plat. I would think it's probably binding no matter what it's labeled, but we could definitely, I think it's always better to be more precise.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that because as we've talked about, the footprint of that house is the actual house footprint. I know a lot of times when we propose a house, we never know what the footprint may look like depending on the customer, but we have that footprint and, we've designed this footprint based on the garage floor and the finished floor. So I would be okay with what's shown on our plat.
Okay. This is one of our typical conditions that we use. Do we need to amend this one? It seems to be pretty straightforward.
And we had discussed it at previous meetings, so,
I think it's captured.
pardon?
You believe it's captured then?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. All right, great. Any other comments or discussion? All right, Ms. Bergami, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Laflamme?
Aye.
Ms. Strain?
Aye.
Mr. Khan?
Aye.
Mr. Millspaw?
Aye.
Ms. Gomes?
Aye.
Ms. Gold?
Aye.
Chairman Derpino?
Aye, resolution passes.
Great, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, that wraps up new business, and we'll move on to discussion items. First up is 2690 Balltown Road, GE Vernova. This is a site plan application for a security center. Project lead is Ms. Gold, representative
Yes.
from the applicant here.
And the big news is that the signage variances were all granted. And I,
Hi, Matt Savoy, GE Vernova Facilities Operations Leader, One Research Circle, Niskuna.
Thank you. All right, so no takeaways from the public hearing.
Yes, sir.
That's good. And then, as Ms. Gold said, there was an update on the signage package. All seem to be going well moving forward. So maybe a quick recap as to where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Laura, are you driving or is Clark? Laura, would you mind clicking? We just had a short pitch presentation to show. So overall, very similar to what you've seen before. The first bullet there is the one of note, and there's another page we'll dive into it. But during geotechnical evaluation, we did identify expansive shale below subsurface. So the team got together and did make a bit of a pivot. So we wanted to talk about that this evening.
You can't dig it.
If we could keep flipping, Laura. So this just again highlights the sign which you guys have seen. And we could go to the next page if you don't mind. Awesome. So I know it's a little hard to read here on the screen, so I'll try to read some of the bullets here so for you all so you don't have to squint. Again, kind of what I mentioned here, expansive shale was identified. If you're not familiar, just lots of different remediation issues that causes, and remediation's a loose term there because there's really not a way to ensure you won't have a problem after you do these remediation efforts. So there's a lot of substantial work you'd have to go do with really no guaranteed outcome. So actually the pivot we looked at actually overall shrank the square footage of the building. The basement was a full basement at 1,600 square feet. We were able to reduce that by elimination of the basement, just expansion of the building by roughly about 600 square feet. So actually we did overall shrink the building. One of the things we're very interested in is looking at our energy intensity of the facility. We're doing lots of things like we've talked about in these discussions from a sustainability perspective. So actually by shrinking the overall square footage and the cubic volume of the facility, we actually were able to positively impact some of those things as well. So that was probably the biggest thing we wanted to highlight here. I'm sorry, that was 974 square feet increase to the building footprint is the bullet there to make sure I read it correctly. As you can see, the building has an extension there that didn't impact the balance of the site. So nothing else from the balance of the site got impacted. We can show that on the next page. And then one important data point we had shared earlier, the building was 204 feet from Balltown Road to the corner. With this adjustment, it's 182. So it's still pretty substantial distance set back. This graphic here, you can see there's a lightly shaded dotted line across the yellow box there. That's where you see the original building and then that extension. And to my earlier comment, didn't impact the balance of the site. So everything else we've talked about has remained intact. And that's the update we had for this evening.
And so the modification to the building, was that just through the planning process? You determined the size needed to be reconfigured?
Yeah, so it was actually through geotechnical evaluation. So we had done some pre-drilling.
Okay.
As we got into this, we went much deeper. I think this was 6 to 8 feet down is where it was found. That's the first bullet there. We have found some groundwater intrusion. So we were looking at potentially sump pumps and all that kind of stuff. And when you got into what it would take to potentially make it work, again, there was no guarantee. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense. It was square peg round hole, right? So we said, all right, let's look at a potential pivot. This seemed to make a lot of sense. Again, didn't impact the balance of the site and overall shrunk the total footprint. So this was the direction the team thought made the most sense for this property.
The zoning board of appeals only decided on signage, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, none of this affects the signage?
No, sir.
So I'm trying to figure out now. For the public hearing, did we include the increase to the building or not? I didn't think,
It wasn't included in the public hearing, but the public hearing is discretionary. You don't have to call it, and this project has actually had 2 public hearings at this point now. So my recommendation is it's not a substantial enough change, especially for a discretionary public hearing, to renotice, especially considering we've gotten no comments.
okay, so we could proceed.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. I'm trying to think if the small addition in size would provoke any comments. I don't honestly think it would. And since we didn't have to have the public hearing, yeah, I'm okay with proceeding. I think we're ready for resolution.
Just a quick update on the TDE work. We did receive the first comment letter from the TDE this afternoon, so we haven't really had a chance to digest it or get it out to Matt and his team yet either, but I don't expect there to be anything really substantial. It's basically a 2-page letter, but we'll get that in the hands of Matt and his team tonight.
And hopefully nothing in that TDE letter impacts us single floor square footage increase.
Yeah, I don't think it would.
Yep.
Okay, but then we're not ready.
No, I glanced through it. It's a pretty short letter for a big project like that. There wasn't really any big comments in it.
Yeah, we've called for a resolution dependent on TDE comments coming back. And if we find something within the next few days that would trigger that, then obviously we would go back to discussion item and come up with resolution at a further point. Just going back to the original building footprint, were you going with a full basement before?
Correct.
Oh, I see. And now, okay, that's a smarter move, regardless if they're shale or not. So I understand the reasoning for that, but if you've done that level of geotechnical, that I think clarifies a little bit more for us. I would support the less invasive subsurface because there's a high water table, not to mention unsuitable soils in a lot of places. Okay.
I'm not an engineer nor an architect, but I grew up in the northwestern corner of town. I'm not surprised you found shale. And it makes a lot of sense not to have a basement there.
Okay.
So we're ready for a tentative
Yeah.
resolution next meeting. Just so you know, if there's something negative that comes back, it might not happen.
Sure. And, just one comment. I do believe the drawings that TDE reviewed were the drawings with the expanded building.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah,
we'll clarify
they
all that
were.
then. That's correct, Laura?
Yeah, that's correct. I checked with Doug.
All right. So we'll see what the TDE comes back with. And if not, we'll have this on for a resolution for next meeting.
Okay. Very good. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Okay, next up on discussion items is 46 Commerce Park. This is a site plan application requiring a 2-lot subdivision and special use permit for the construction of a 6,000 square foot building for a Montessori Child Care Center. Ms. Gold is the project lead, and we have a representative here for the applicant.
I'm getting my exercise tonight.
Mr. Paleshi's up for Engineer of the Year award in this community. All right, so you had a chance to listen to the public hearing. Obviously, no takeaways from that. Talked about the accelerated timeline. So again, just to quickly recap, site plan was expanded a little bit, came up to the 2.57 acres, reconfigured parking, curb cuts were expanded on. There was a little bit more, I think, green space in the back too. So there was a net gain for basically all the revisions that we saw from the first draft. Okay, let's go.
Well, it goes to the town board. And until we have a resolution from them, I don't know that we can go any farther, really.
Oh, sorry. The only thing that I kind of thought about, and I realize that this is complicated, but for the subdivision itself as a separated item, the planning board has to do the secret determination before they call for the public hearing on the subdivision. So I thought that while the town board is looking at the special use permit, just to make sure that all of the technical points of each different thing, the special use permit, the site plan, and the subdivision, were all taken care of, that I would recommend that you guys call for a resolution making a secret determination and calling for a public hearing on the subdivision. The CAC looked at this project, at their March meeting, and they made a recommendation unanimously to the town board and planning board that they're recommending a negative declaration. There's open site, and they're doing a meeting where they want to work with the applicant on some sustainability elements, but that's just like an exciting thing for them. Generally, they didn't identify any major environmental impacts for either the subdivision or the special use permit and site plan.
Okay, sounds like the applicant would be in
we-
favor of that.
Absolutely.
All right.
And I'm on board with that as well.
All right, so we'll have the planning department start to collect that information, put the timeline together. And then in the interim, we'll see how this goes to the town board and hopefully have you back here shortly.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, but at the next meeting, we could have that resolution making the secret determination and calling for a public hearing on the subdivision.
Correct. And then that would be held the first
Meeting of
meeting
April.
in April.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's the status of the SWIP review and the stormwater basin rehab?
Yeah, so our understanding is there was a SWIP completed for this project. Lot number 7, which was this one that you see, was approved for a much larger office building parking lot. I think it was 40-something thousand square feet. Obviously, we're only impacting a small piece of that. That all will continually drain into the existing stormwater basin over to the south. There's some modification work that was approved as well for redoing some of the components of that basin. And, we're understanding that that has to be done prior to CO of this building. And then obviously the lot number 2 of this component, that would be set up for future development. And when that time comes, they'll see how much impervious that we've already added compared to what was originally approved. And if they go over and above the what was originally approved on impervious, then they may have to put their own stormwater practice on their own property. If they're within those limits, my understanding is that they can continually drain to the existing basin because it was already designed for. So we've looked at that. We will have a SWIP document because obviously during construction, we still want to follow the typical DEC erosion and sediment control measures, stabilized construction entrance, concrete washout areas, silt fencing, and all of the typical construction parameters. And we'll have that document, and that's what's shown here. Actually, it's on the screen. That's our erosion and sediment control plan. But we'll also have the SWIP document that goes with that as well.
So the improvements are planned and they just have to be done before the construction of the basin.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we've also got it in the scope of work for the TDE to verify that those improvements bring it back to its original design intent. So we did get a TDE letter on February 23rd for this project. I think it took a little while to get that distributed to you guys.
Yeah, we did finally receive it. We had a chance to review it, and we'll respond to it point by point like we typically do. So.
The board is also recommending to the town board to put as a condition of the special use permit that the adjacent stormwater pond be rehabilitated prior to CO.
All right. Any
Great.
other
We'll see
comments
you
or
in a
concerns?
couple weeks.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, that wraps up discussion items. So we'll move on to reports. Lauren Clark.
I don't have anything.
I got an email from Albany County that this is their second annual planning board training. I didn't even realize they had a first one. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I will look into it and send it out to you guys. That would be a third in-person training if it pans out. So we have Saratoga County, the CDRPC training in October, and then potentially this new Albany County training, and I think it's in a couple weeks.
Okay, great. It's never too early to get your hours in.
And usually the in-person ones come with sandwiches, so that's also good.
There you go. Is there any, Laura, is there any potential for a training to be held here at our town?
Yeah, we did that. I'd say like maybe a year after COVID or so. I organized some nights and I put the projector up and just played some really, well, what I thought was very interesting planning videos from the American Planning Association. I have done that. I did it in November and December a couple years ago.
Okay. Well, maybe it's something we can add to our schedule. Maybe one of the monthly meetings that we have, only one meeting or something.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of like it. We don't have sandwiches, obviously, but at least we still get to sit together.
All right, great. We can fix that. Okay. Anything else on the reports? No. Okay. We'll open up to commission business for any board members.
Mr. Chairman, I need to retract my aye on the February 23rd meeting. Despite the fact I did review the YouTube video in its entirety, I was not actually here. So maybe Ms. Bergami can mark me as abstain for that vote instead. Thank you. Yes.
Well, just for, I guess, follow-up clarification on that, I voted on the minutes that I wasn't here for because I reviewed the video and reviewed the minutes.
Yep.
For Mr. Hess, you don't actually have to be here to act on the minutes,
no.
correct? As long as you review them?
As long as the minutes are accurate in your view.
Right, okay.
Yep. I mean, actually, Robert's Rules of Order allows, once you're present, you vote in the minutes without review. We're good.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other commission business? Okay. I don't have anything. So, get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Strang,
Second.
second by Mr. Khan. All in favor state by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, meeting is adjourned at 8:05 p.m. Thank you, everyone.
Excuse me, I just had a question. I thought, Laura?
Yeah. You can close the meeting out, Z. I can just talk online. Yes, go ahead.
Laura, so I thought my application was a part of agenda today.
Your application did go to the Conservation Advisory Council and they made a recommendation. I'd have to see what the next steps were. I'm sorry, I recognize you, but I didn't realize what project you were for. It's 3515 Rosendale Road, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, Clark and I will reach out to you and we'll see what your next step is and let you know
Oh,
where we're at.
okay. Because I got an email today from the board members that my application was on the agenda.
Oh,
But anyway.
I'm sorry for the